Hi, this is Jenny Walterman. This is my case study video for Module 11, and let's get started. In this case study, the quick summary of the key people involved is Mr. Rhodes, a principal at Golden Oak High School, Dr. Newman, the superintendent, several staff that are unnamed, teachers, attendance person, a school counselor. There's 5 students and their parents that are being evaluated because each student has more than 10 absences from first semester. Their names are Karen, Tyrone, Christina, Carl, and John. There are some adults involved, parents of students, and a minister is referenced in one of the student cases, and then an athletic director. There's a social services juvenile court truancy officer reference also in this case study. So some of the key facts, Dr. Newman, he is a superintendent. His primary concern regarding Golden Oaks school attendance, it's the lowest percentage of student attendance in the district. And the school board policy is aligned with state law. He informs the principal of that. And absences should only be allowed for illness, death in the immediate family, inclement weather, or a valid reason that is excused by the principal with prior approval. And I have that underlined because we see instances of teachers approving absences without the notification of administration. So that's why I underlined that line. We'll get more to that later. The district policy that currently exists penalizes students for more than 5 unexcused absences, and teachers can subtract 10 points from the total quarter grade if they have more than 5 absences. And the district has a positive relationship between the district and county agencies. Dr. Newman lets the principal know that and says that he should work with social services and juvenile court if necessary to improve attendance. Mr. Rhodes is the principal's first year in this position. He started in the spring of the school year, and Dr. Newman outlined several problems that need to be improved, but the primary one that he wants Mr. Rhodes to focus on is the attendance issue. Mr. Rhodes looked at some files of students that had more than 10 absences, and he discovered several problems while evaluating this, more than just the 10 days gone, other underlying issues that are contributing to student absences. So staff and teachers attendance reporting instead of referring attendance issues to the attendance secretary and the administration. The attendance counselor seems to have some inaccuracies or inconsistencies and a lack of follow through. Possibly there's not enough detail about what actions have been taken by the counselor, but definitely some mentions of some possibly missed opportunities to follow up with students and families. And then the school culture needs to shift to value attendance. Mr. Rhodes realizes that everyone in the building needs to be working towards the same goal and on the same page. There is inconsistency in following the attendance policies from teacher to teacher. It seems like some of the teachers are concerned about it and are trying to resolve issues because of academic performance, but other teachers are approving absences, like the homeroom teachers are tending to do that. And he also requires clarification of the relationship between attendance and academic achievement, and wants to really communicate to the staff that when students aren't present, it's going to negatively impact their academic achievement. So more key facts continued. These uh, top 5 areas that Mr. Rhodes reviewed and that I just listed in this previous screen here, that those 5 items, I have color coded now on this screen. And so anything you see in red has to do with school culture, teachers not valuing attendance, staff and teachers attendance reporting instead of referring it to the attendance secretary, and inconsistency in following school policy or attendance policy. Anything in blue has to do with attendance and academic achievement, disconnect, or information that is negatively that is demonstrating a way that attendance is negatively impacting students. And then anything in green has to do with anything parent issue related, lack of attendance, or counselor inaccuracies, lack of follow through, anything like that. So the five students that Mr. Rhodes read about their cases was Karen. She's in 11th grade. She's missed more than 10 days. Often they are Mondays and Fridays. Tyrone in 10th grade, he was an honor student the previous year and has only demonstrated average progress this year. He missed 14 days, and his homeroom teacher did approve 2 5-day vacation stretches where the mother and father separately wrote excuse letters for him saying that these were school related because they were educational opportunities. And the homeroom teacher did approve those. And then Christina is in 9th grade. She's missed 4 days, 3 different weeks. And so that's a significant amount of time in one week to not be in school, but that's happened multiple times. Homeroom teacher has approved some of her absences. There are form letters signed by a minister for out of town meetings with no specific details or information. Um, the algebra teacher has requested a conference with the parents because she has missed 2 major algebra exams due to the absences. And on her grade card, she has 2 C's and 1 D. So she's not being present enough to really succeed academically. And then Carl is in 10th grade. He spends half his day at the vocational tech program. His parents, when they reach out about attendance issues, seem to be indifferent or even unsupportive of encouraging their child to be in school. In fact, the father stated that if he dropped out, Carl could go ahead and work with him instead, and that he's a dropout and that he's been doing just fine. So these absences appear to be random. There's no consistent routine to them, and this case was referred to the truancy officer. This is the only case in all of these that was, and I find it interesting that this is the case that was referred. So there might be some underlying bias or socioeconomic stuff possibly happening there that we're going to refer this student, but not the football star. Speaking of football star, here we come with John. He's an 11th grader. He's missed afternoon classes 3 times weekly for a while. We don't know how long, but he did have an injury. He is the quarterback, and the doctor approved that he could rejoin playing the games after missing a couple of them, with the caveat that he needs to continue physical therapy on a regular basis. So his physical therapy is every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 2:30. And the athletic director has requested Friday afternoon absences to rest for games. And so you have a coach requesting a student not be in the classroom in order to prepare for a sporting event, which I feel like has other ethical implications to it. One thing I did not draw out here that I just want to mention now, and then I will continue. But there's a couple of cases where I'm thinking, do the parents know that their child is not in school? We have a signed letter from the minister, but did we have parent permission for Christina to not be in school? Do they know that she wasn't in school? Um, we have John, who's the athletic director, requested him not have to go to classes on Friday afternoon so he can take a nap before the game. But what do the parents say about that? Are we allowed to let other people influence whether or not a student can be in or out of school without speaking directly to parents and getting their consent? That's just an aside. I'm not really going to go dig any deeper into that right now, but it is an issue that jumps out at me. So, in this situation, we have some legal and ethical issues happening. Okay, so for the school policy, our district building attendance policy is in contention because it's not being followed, and we are in violation of state truancy laws by allowing so many absences to continue, especially with high schoolers where they have a certain set number of minimum day hour requirements from the state in order to get a diploma. And so our students need to be in the building, they need to be attending school. And we have some situations where parents seem to be permissive in contributing to the absences and not putting school as a priority and teaching their child that school is a priority. So that's a potential legal issue, as we saw in the legal case in this case study. And then teachers are perhaps breaking laws by not honoring their contractual obligation and acting like professionals and reporting attendance issues immediately when they happen. There might be a legal issue with not following up on truancy issues equitably and not just to John. So that could be an issue of some of these other students. We needed to follow up with truancy directives, but also we need to make sure that we're not singling out certain types of students over others. Um, and is the attendance secretary keeping accurate reports? Are we accurately reporting to the state what's happening with our attendance? That's a question I have. So, ethical conflicts that exist are the inconsistent and unprofessional actions on approving attendance instead of referring to the attendance secretary. That's happening by teachers not accurately reporting attendance. The athletic coach requesting time off for a player seems beyond his purview and inappropriate for a coach or teacher to approve time off for a student. The school counselor's lack of follow up and honoring communication requests of parents by setting up meetings. And we don't really know enough about that I don't want to throw the school counselor under the bus too much. But I think that there's definitely, she's ethically bound to respond to some of these situations um, in a more assertive manner than what has happened. And then we might have some missing documentation from teachers and counselors regarding attendance, and then lack of maintaining accountability from previous administration towards the teachers, students, and family. Because obviously, whatever the head does, whatever direction the head moves, that's where the eyes are going to look. And so, if we have an administrator that was not really being stringent with policy, it has ethically diminished the accountability of the attendance program in this building. So, what harm has occurred? The students are being allowed to miss this much school, and it negatively impacts their academics. Teachers not following strict attendance policies impact students and parent view of respecting the importance of students being in school. The school reputation is obviously being harmed because it's now the lowest attendance rate in the district. And then overlooking attendance gives students a false impression that showing up doesn't matter. And this will affect their success as an adult citizen in the future because showing up absolutely does matter. You need to be reliable and responsible in order to be a successful person in your adult life. Okay. Um, this case study summarized in one statement. Mr. Rhodes, a first-year principal at Golden Oaks High School, has been tasked by the superintendent to correct the excessive absence problem at his school, which has the lowest percentage of student attendance in the district, which has resulted in inaccurate attendance records and a culture of undervaluing attendance by the teachers, staff, and community. So, what's missing? What do we know and what do we not know? So, regarding the people, we know the principal and the superintendent, Mr. Rhodes and Dr. Newman, the homeroom teachers, truancy officers, athletic director, the 5 students that I gave the attendance examples for, and the teacher retention is high. There's only 2 new teachers, so teachers tend to get jobs at that school and stay there. What is unknown is who are these teachers not reporting attendance? Um, who are Karen, Christine, and John's parents. We don't really get to hear from them too much, and we need to know what their thoughts are on all this attendance. Um, what we know about the place is that it's Golden Oak High School, 965 students, grades 9 through 12. It's mostly middle income families. There's some low, some high, but for the most part, it's a middle income family uh, community, and a lot of commuters to the city, a lot of families. What's unknown is the name of the town. Where is Golden Oak High School, specifically in the town? We don't know what the juvenile detention center program is like and how that's impacting truancy. We have previously established policies, I'm assuming, but we don't know what those are. We don't know how the previous principal was um, following through on policy. The counselor level of follow up with students and families, I've mentioned that before. I really just feel like we need more information about what action has been taken and has not been taken regarding some of these issues. What do we know and not know about the program and unknown facts? So we know that this school has 11 different sports, 31 clubs. It's increasingly diverse with more Hispanic and Asian students. The increasing attendance issues has become a problem, and teachers approving absences is also a problem. What's unknown is the established practices by the previous principal. We don't know about what the new teacher mentor process is, if they're addressing attendance policy at the new teacher mentorship and discussing that with teachers or not. So it could be like a domino effect of lack of information following through. Data-driven reasons why attendance trends have changed. We don't have that information yet. And we don't know if teachers are deducting points for students with more than 5 absences or not. We know that's a district policy, but we don't know if that's happening and influencing students negatively academically if they're not showing up to class. So prioritizing the information, um, we know that there needs to be established policies that are followed. We need to conduct a data-driven perception survey and pull assessment data with demographic disaggregation to explore the academic impact on students that are chronically absent. We need to investigate potential post-COVID reasons attendance has declined. Follow up on teachers' choice to approve absences without consulting administration or attendance counselors. Determine if Karen's parents are aware of what's happening, why she got married right before her junior year, what's going on in her new family life with her spouse that is causing her to not be able to get to school. We need to find out if she's been emancipated or what's happening there. And then we need to inform parents of district policy or remind them and let them know when is the appropriate time to inform and follow through on changing policies. Key stakeholders in this case study is Mr. Rhodes, the building personnel and staff, students and parents and guardians, the superintendent, district and school board, school counselor and attendance secretary, community members, and future employers of these students that need to have better effort at attendance. Truancy officer, juvenile detention center. Could this conflict be damaging to the community? Yes. Impact could be influenced. The impact could influence confidence in school performance based on inconsistent or underreported attendance records. The equitable education for students and ensuring all students are receiving the best opportunities for educational growth and academic success definitely could be damaging. And the lack of consequences or stringent attendance policies that can affect the future work ethic of these high schoolers entering the workforce in the future could also damage the community. Can I learn more? Do I know enough to make a decision? I think I can move forward with next steps in reviewing and establishing attendance policies or coming up with a plan. I do need to assess perception survey data and disaggregated academic assessment data to investigate trends and potentially impact sorry, situations that are potentially impacting student attendance and achievement. So, possible solutions. Option one, do nothing, allow the attendance process to continue and address other issues the superintendent brought to Mr. Rhodes' attention. Option two is a comprehensive action plan. This one has several steps. Initiate a perception survey for all key stakeholders, asking various questions surrounding attendance and school issues that may impact students and families. Create an attendance building leadership team to review and analyze this data for surveys and assessments. Based on data analysis and together with the administration, outline a new attendance policy for the building, train faculty and build staff on new attendance policies, discuss the data results, state law, district policies, and how poor attendance is impacting students at Golden Oak High School. Communicate and implement this new attendance policy to all key stakeholders. Meet with students in an organized and controlled situation for maximum impact and communication clarity. Then send communication blasts to families on the same day as student meetings. Follow up and reinforce new policies after 9 weeks and continue to meet with BLT to review data trends and any issues that may come up requiring a shift or clarification of policy. Option three is an intermediate strategy. It's not doing nothing, but it's not the extent of option two that's comprehensive. So the intermediate strategies would be reestablish teacher attendance reporting policies already in place by the district and have a faculty meeting to discuss examples of problems with attendance reporting. Role play how teachers would and should respond to different scenarios so everybody's on the same page. Funnel all absences through the attendance secretary and elevate any absence requests beyond the 5 days to administration for approval. Gather data from academic and SEL assessments along with a perception survey. Conduct a teacher in service to review policies and procedures after the first 9 weeks. Evaluate data results by looking for trends and then determine the next steps from there to be implemented more aggressively in the following year. So, pros and cons of doing nothing: it prevents conflict and confrontation between a new principal and their staff and families. Cons is that state law and district policies are continuing to be broken. Student academic performance will suffer and continue to decline. Students are not learning the value and responsibility of showing up, which is a vital lesson for a successful transition to adult life. And school and district may face disciplinary action from the state, and students with high absence rates may not qualify for graduation. Option three, pros and cons, the intermediate strategies. Effort is being taken to diminish problems with attendance and academics. Another pro is that it allows time to implement a perception survey and conduct thorough data analysis. It also uh, allows teachers to be more accepting of small changes rather than an immediate shift to a dramatic change. Cons is that this is a band aid at best. It's not really going to do that much initially, and it may still be enabling poor habits, and students' needs will not be met. And no action towards engaging truancy officers or notifying parents in a timely manner are mentioned in this plan. And then reviewing option two, the comprehensive action, the pros and cons. Pros for that is that a thorough plan is developed that will have more of a chance of lasting. Teachers feel involved in the process by being part of that BLT team and more likely to comply. Notifying all families of attendance policies and consequences may improve attendance. Parents might learn something they didn't know before about student attendance and/or academics. And careful consideration of the data analysis and evaluation of BLT will bring about observations and issues that can be listed as problem-solving goals for the building and staff. Parent community will feel like the school cares about the student well-being and equipping them appropriately for the future. Some cons to option two is that it will involve a lot of people and probably require board hearings, more cases with the truancy office, and potentially disciplinary action for students, parents, and teachers not following explicit instructions from the attendance policy. Teachers approaching retirement that are becoming more apathetic may be disgruntled or refuse to comply. Parents may pull students and transition to online or virtual programs if they start to notice their student has a lot more absences that are actually being reported, and the teacher turnover rate may increase. The best option that I think is option two, the comprehensive action. This is the best option for both students and teachers. Student attendance and following state attendance laws is no small matter. The school needs to develop and implement a plan for correcting this issue as soon as possible. In order for the new policies and programming to be successful, involving staff members and getting input from all key stakeholders will have the greatest impact by considering all areas that may be contributing to student truancy issues. Although a new principal may not want to face conflict upon entering a new position in a new school, teachers not reporting absences or excusing absences without notifying the office is not acceptable. These practices must be ended as soon as possible. Any parents that are unaware that their student has an attendance issue must be brought into the situation and informed of what is happening with their child. We have a legal and moral obligation to ensure students are where they are supposed to be and safe during the school day. Conversely, any parents that are knowingly and willfully supporting excessive absences and truancy must be dealt with by the appropriate legal and social services departments. So, in implementing the decision, what I would do first is initiate a perception survey for students, families, and community members that will help guide decisions that focus on promoting the current and future success and well being of each student. The perception survey questions will focus on attendance, transportation, post COVID thoughts on education, how accessible is communication with teachers, and how often do teachers make classroom content available online? Do online resources impact students by thinking that they don't need to be present in the building in order to continue learning? Second, I would create a BLT of teachers from different departments and one school counselor to evaluate the results of the perception survey. I would include results from the most recent MAP and Fast Bridge assessments and have teachers discuss how this is impacting student academics, attendance records, and academic trends. Explore opportunities for change and advocate for new policy suggestions as a team. Third, I would develop a new and clearly defined school governed attendance policy that aligns with district policies, standards, and state law requirements, includes a new reporting system for attendance that is equitable, immediate, and mandatory for all teachers, improves management that prevent teachers from approving absences. All teachers must submit attendance within the first 5 minutes of class and includes an automated parent notification system to send an email or text immediately to improve communication and ensure the success and well-being of each student and adult. Fourth, I would communicate and implement new attendance policies for all key stakeholders. Notify and train teachers and building staff first and send a message committing to use data-informed decisions to develop a school improvement plan. Meeting with the students by grade level to maintain control and ensure the message is communicated consistently. On the same day as the student attendance meeting, send a communication blast to parent families in all the different ways that they can possibly receive it. So I would send it email, mail a letter home, do an online post, do social media, post it to the learning management system if parents have an account there. Just every way that I can possibly get the information out, I will send it in all of those different ways, all at the same time. And then ensure families understand how poor attendance impacts student academic success, state law and district policies regarding attendance, and the new three strikes policy, which will result in notifying the truancy officer. Fifth, follow up and reinforce teacher training by meeting to discuss data trends related to attendance and academic performance after the first 9 weeks of the new policies being implemented. Continue to meet with the established attendance BLT biweekly to discuss any additional issues regarding building culture that may arise and be able to pivot swiftly if needed. So, my reflection, I'm not going to read to you, but you can pause and read it for yourself. And my references. Thanks for watching.